Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Claire Candy Hough, and through my business, Angel Healing House, which can be found at angelhealinghouse.com. Through all my services and the things that I do, I have the infinite joy and the honor of being able to channel angel messages, in particular from my angelic family, who are called the Posse of Angels. Now, today's topic is called Forgiveness Opens Doors of Magic. Now, with only 5 weeks to go before the end of this year, 2013, many people will be experiencing an absolutely magical time of miraculous connections and opportunities to propel us forward. And the Posse of Angels is sharing with us that this will be happening because of very specific reasons. Those of us who have been crystal clear about honoring our heartfelt dreams, having cleared and cleansed our negative emotions, having let go of dishonoring people from our lives, and having chosen to creatively bring forth our unique gifts with great passion and enthusiasm, we will begin to see very tangible results of our desires manifesting in our physical realities. Quite frankly, I'm wiggling with excitement how all of this is going to alchemically and energetically come together. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what if I haven't done all of the above? Do I miss out on the magic? Well, I can tell you that life is not a race, but it's the journey that matters. And for that journey to be all that you could possibly desire, it is tantamount to focus on those above points to see where they are not being addressed in your life. This past year of 2013 was crucial for humanity's enlightenment and our forward movement. And the number one thing that many people finally felt drawn to do in this transformational year was to forgive others and to forgive themselves. The Posse of Angels, they're applauding us for taking this all-important step. In many cases, it doesn't matter how spiritual we are. Forgiving others can be very difficult and a very difficult area to address. But they are really urging us to look at forgiveness from an angel's perspective. When it comes to forgiveness, the most important thing to remember is not what a person said or what they did. The most important thing to remember is that if that person is there in your life, you and you alone contracted for that soul to be there. In fact, the road to forgiveness starts with taking responsibility and accountability for the appearance of anyone and everyone who is in our life. And not only did we contract for that soul to be in our life, we chose their characteristics as well. Okay, here come the Posse of Angels. The Posse of Angels are chiming in, and they know that for many people this is a really hard thing to believe, especially if that person has abused you, and if they were controlling, if they were judgmental, dishonoring, and basically done you wrong in any way, shape, or form. But they are saying that you contracted this divine soul and their contrasting, controlling natures to push and challenge you to be authentic, to become empowered. In many cases, they challenged you to find your voice and to speak up for yourself. By forgiving others, we don't condone or tolerate or allow any disrespectful behavior. We are just choosing to forgive in order to stop the suffering of carrying the burden of unforgiveness on our soul anymore. We forgive for our own benefit, as we truly cannot control anyone else's actions or the choices that they choose to make. There are many people who see forgiveness as a sign of weakness, when in actual fact, to quote Mahatma Gandhi, The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. You know, the Posse of Angels, here they're chiming in again, and they're saying that unless we ultimately forgive others, we cannot fully put to rest the memory of any less than desirable relationships or events which have happened in our life. And by not finding closure with forgiveness, then we simply cannot move freely forward with our own lives, as we are caught in an endless loop of blame and finding fault and perhaps being a victim. The Posse of Angels is adding that unforgiveness actually closes us down to fully being open and to realize our wishes and dreams coming true. It actually closes us down to receiving. You know, viewers, one of the most extraordinary stories that I experienced came as a direct result of taking responsibility and forgiving another person. It was in 1998, after 22 years of experiencing abuse in my marriage. I had little to no self-worth, and I had allowed myself to become codependent and controlled. You know, when I finally built up the courage to end my abusive marriage, I was so frail and I was so disempowered that I really did not have the emotional strength to fight my powerful, very clever ex, who is a lawyer. I basically let him set the terms of the financial settlement. He structured the settlement in such a way that the first part of the agreement would occur after 1 year, and then he, and he alone, would determine when the second part of the settlement would happen. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how could she possibly have allowed this? But, viewers, I can tell you, I was not awakened, and I was not the same person that honors and respects herself today. Thinking that after a lifetime of devotion and servitude to my husband and raising our 2 beautiful children, that the second part of the financial settlement would certainly come in a reasonable amount of time. I waited, and I saw the end of 1999, the end of the year 2000, the end of the year 2001 and 2002, with absolutely no communication from my ex. He would not receive my phone calls or any correspondence on the matter, as he had been given free rein to structure the open terms of the agreement, and he certainly was in no hurry to part with any of his wealth. It was at the beginning of 2003 that I was at the lowest point in my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And you know what? They say that when we are at our lowest, there's nowhere else to look but up. It was at this time that I decided to let go and allowed the grace of God to enter my life. I remember one evening I had just finished meditating, and I felt this overwhelming compulsion to compose a letter to my ex. And in the letter, I stated that I felt that it was about time that I told him how grateful and appreciative I was for the life of wealth and beautiful opportunities that his hard work had afforded myself and our children. I thanked him for the beautiful homes that we lived in, the children's private school tuitions that we could so easily afford, the wonderful international trips that we were able to take, and the many forms of entertainment that we were privileged to take advantage of. I thanked him for his dedication to his work and the sacrifices that he made in order to provide for us. Now, in that letter, I stressed how grateful I was for his efforts, and I didn't write one word about his controlling emotional and mental abuse. Before I sent the letter off, I quietly called in my angels, and I called in my higher self and also my ex's higher self, and I acknowledged that I wrote him in the contract of my life to help me learn my lessons. I thanked him for loving me so much that he had given up part of his incarnation in order to play a contrasting role in the theater of my life, so that I would really honor myself. I blessed him for exactly where he chose to be on his path to life, and then I released and forgave him from having any effect on my life again. I remember then surrounding him in green healing light, and then I sent him waves of pink clouds of unconditional love. Posting the letter the next day, I continued to forgive him in my daily meditations, and I sent him green healing light and the pink light of unconditional love. You know, it was 1 week later that I received a call out of the blue from my ex's lawyers saying that $250,000 would be deposited in my bank account that afternoon. Was this merely a coincidence? The Posse of Angels, well, they're shaking their heads and they're saying no. And they're saying that it simply comes down to the universal laws of cause and effect. Because I decided to come home to the spiritual wisdom inside of myself and lovingly forgave a divine fellow soul from my heart, I basically chose to live my divine eternal nature. And by doing so, I allowed the full measure, the glory, and the magic of the divine to enter into my life. And if you desire some assistance with forgiving yourself and others, I would love to help you. To book your intuitive counseling and Reiki healing session or an angel reading, you can phone me on 831-277-3716 or email me, Claire Candy, at Candy, C-A-N-D-Y, at angelhealinghouse.com. Also to order my inspirational book called Angels of Faith, or my beautiful, relaxing, guided angel meditation CD called Letting Go of Concerns and Living in the Now. You can go to my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com. I'd like to thank you viewers once again for tuning into my YouTube videos, and I look so forward to being with you again, sending you lots of love and certainly angel blessings. And do remember to go out and fashion an absolutely beautiful life for yourself. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.